Okay, thank you everyone for accepting the invitation to join this micro teaching session. I'm going to talk about costing of a single product. So I'll plead with you to give me just a few seconds to share my screen. All right. So in this lesson, I'm going to be talking about costing for a single product. Costing for a single product. In the previous session, we learned about staff costs, but now we are going to look at how to calculate the cost of a single product. Again, I'm going to take you through the lesson plan. This is also a 15 minutes session, just like the previous one. I'll use about 2 minutes to do the introduction, 1 minute to tell you about the objectives of the lesson, the main lesson. And for this, we are going to use a different approach. I'm going to use a case study from Aku's company. And of course, I'll draw my conclusion and then give room for questions. So my name remains Aku Sikabwa. I am a researcher at the University of Miskolc in Hungary. I'm specializing in entrepreneurship. And as part of the Start and Improve Your Business training course, I'm required to make this 15 minutes micro teaching session. The ground rules are you can mute your microphone, you can turn your camera on or off if you want to, and to make the lesson more interactive, let's take advantage of the chat box. If you have any questions or you're having some technical issues with internet, you can drop it in the chat box so that I know. The main objective of this lesson is to show participants how to calculate the costs of a single product. How to calculate the cost of a single product. And to do this, I'm going to use a case study from Aku's company. So for the case study, let me just tell you briefly what Aku's company is, what it does, and the problem the company is currently facing. Now, Aku's company produces 4 different types of natural fruit juice: orange fruit juice, pineapple, grapes, and apple flavored fruit juice. The company has 4 different stations where each fruit juice is produced, and so incurs different fixed and variable costs for producing each product. The general manager is curious about what is happening at the orange station because this station has the highest fixed and variable costs. How can the general manager find the cost of producing a single product at the orange station, and if possible, identify why the orange station is incurring such huge costs? So this is the case study. And for those of you who don't know the general manager, this is the general manager of Aku's company. She's the one facing this problem, and we are supposed to help her to find the costs of producing a single product. So Aku goes to the accountant, and the accountant gives her this graph. This graph shows the cost incurred at each station. Now, the green bar represents the pineapple station, the cost incurred at the pineapple station. The orange bar represents the cost incurred at the orange station. The purple bar represents the cost incurred at the grape station. And of course, the red bar represents the cost incurred at the apple station. So we can clearly see that the orange station is incurring huge costs, almost $4.5 million compared to all the other stations. And Aku is very worried as the general manager of this company. So she goes to the orange station. And the first thing she does is to find the cost incurred for producing at the orange station. So first, she gathers all the costs. As we saw in the previous session, I told you there are so many types of costs incurred. So here we can see that she found out that the raw materials is one of the costs incurred. And to produce the orange juice, she uses sugar, orange, the fruits, preservatives, and water. She also incurs some packaging costs, which also includes the cost of plastic bottles and the labels. For labor or staff costs, she has 4 factory workers and 2 administrative workers. And she also incurs some costs like rent or lease, transport, electricity, and then the maintenance of plant and machinery, or what in economic we term as the depreciation costs. The next thing she does is to group these costs into either fixed or variable costs. So we can see that under the fixed costs, she has the rent, the transport, electricity, staff or labor costs, and then the depreciation or the maintenance of the tools and machinery. And then under the variable costs, she has the cost of raw materials, the packaging, and then there's this by day labor. So usually when it's festive season like Christmas or Ramadan, or when someone is having a program like wedding or birthdays, the orders are huge. People order more. So sometimes they need extra hands to produce, and then they hire temporary staff. So this is the by day labor. So they are not permanent staff. They just come in as and when they are needed. So they are also classified under the variable costs. She goes in further to analyze, and she realized that the total variable cost for producing 1 bottle of orange juice is $1.25. Labor cost per month is $1,200. Rent per month is $150. Transportation per month is $100. Maintenance per month is $50. And she also realized that at the orange station, each month they produce 250 bottles. So here, there is good news and there is bad news. The good news is that we know the variable cost for producing 1 bottle, 1 single product, which is 1.25. But the other cost comes as monthly costs. So what does the general manager do? What is she supposed to do to get the fixed cost for 1 product? The first thing she does is she finds the total fixed cost for 1 month. So here we have the staff costs, we have the rent, the transportation, and then the depreciation. If you add all or you sum them up, you get 1,500. The next thing is to find the fixed cost per product. And as we saw in the previous slide, the orange station produces 250 bottles per month. And so to find the fixed cost per product, we simply divide the total fixed cost per month by the total number of bottles produced per month. After calculating, she got 6, which is also $6. So to find the total cost for producing a single product, we simply add the variable costs for producing a single product, which was 1.5, the new that we just calculated, which is 6, which is also the fixed cost per product. If you sum them up, you get 7.25. And so the cost of producing a single product at the orange station is 7.25. So what is the problem? What is happening at the orange station? Why is the cost so high? In conclusion, the general manager, which is Aku, found out that the price of the orange fruit had increased drastically on the farm. And this was the main cause of the high cost incurred at the orange station. However, the price of orange was $8. Okay, so the solution she provided was 2. The first is either increase the price from 8 to 9 to make up for the extra cost, or they maintain the price at 8 and find a new farmer who sells the orange fruit at a relatively cheaper price, so as to maintain the price at 8. Because if you increase the price to 9, then it means that your products will be higher, the price of your products will be higher than the price of other products, and then demand will reduce, demand will fall, and then that might also bring the company to shut down. So the general manager finally decides to either maintain the price and then buy the orange fruit, which is the raw material, from a new farmer who sells it at a relatively cheaper price. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope you can calculate the cost of a single product when you start up your own firms and your own businesses. And I open the floor for questions.
You have a question on the chat section.
Okay, so what's your question? I see thanks. Or you're typing the question. So if you have any question, you can ask. We have about 2 minutes for questions, so let's make good use of it.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
In your presentation, I heard the general manager find out that the price of oranges has increased, but I don't know. Didn't she also find out from the other stations like the pineapple and the other brand what they are doing there? Is it because of staffing? Like maybe oranges have a number of staff more than the other places, because I could see that the staffing like labor have
Okay.
yeah, so maybe they have too much labors more at the what do you call at the
At
orange
the
or
other station. Okay,
yes.
so from the case study, the staff members are distributed equally across all the 4 stations. So
Okay.
staff members are 6 in each of the stations. They try as much as possible to use the same variable and fixed costs for all the stations.
Okay.
But eventually she realized that the orange station was incurring very, very huge costs. And so yeah, they found out that it was the cost of the raw material, which had increased drastically on the. That's what caused the problem.
Okay. Okay. And are they also producing the same quantity as is expected from them?
So it depends on the orders. So someone likes orange, someone doesn't like orange. So it depends on the order, as much as possible to produce a rate of 250. But during the month, they try to produce more. But on average, they try to produce 250 bottles each in each of the stations.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I see another question in the chat session. It says, what happens when the cost derived by your company is more than the cost price of other competitors? So are you asking about the price of the product?
What I'm saying is, are you not to put in mind the price of maybe the price in other markets, so you're not at a disadvantage, because usually
Exactly. That is why in the conclusion part they had 2 options, either to increase the price from 8 to 9
okay.
or maintain the price at 8, because the general market price is 8. Okay, everybody is selling the product at 8. So if you increase it to 9, you'll be disadvantaged. People will not buy your product. There are other orange juices. So they try to maintain the price at 8 and instead find another person or another farmer who would sell the orange to them at a relatively cheaper price.
And what about rebranding? Let's say I increase the cost of my goods, then I
Okay.
rebrand.
But the quality remains the same.
Maybe just 1 or 2 changes, just to make the high price acceptable by my customers. Do you think it's possible?
Of course, but just don't make the guy that your competitors will have upper hand over you. If you do some
Yes.
rebranding and you increase the price to say 15 per bottle, yes, you have done the rebranding, the product looks attractive, but nobody will buy it. So you can rebrand it and maybe increase the price to say 8.2 or 8.5. You are still within range.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I think we've exhausted all the minutes. Thank
Yeah.
Tony. Thank you, Hayford, Irene, Elvis, and Anthony for taking part in this micro session.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.